Morning everybody, another knife review. What you're looking at here is 3 Ganzo knives, a Chinese company called Ganzo. The one in the middle is a copy of the Benchmade Rift, I believe. But regardless, the place you want to go if you want to get these from is basically xduct.com. I think that's their abbreviation for excellent product. But yeah, they supplied me actually 4 knives, a pack of 4, one of which I've given to my father, and the remainder of which are these 3. So I'm actually quite impressed with them. They cost about £8 each when you work it all out, but that was the pack of 4 that's no longer available at the moment. For some reason they seem to be selling a lot less knives on their website. So I don't know if that's a sign of the times or if that's just them changing, because they used to do about 5 or 6 pages and probably amounted to over 100 different knives, and now they've probably cut that down to about 30 or so. But anyway, they probably took about 2 weeks to arrive, so not bad. Size wise, they're all about the same size. And all a very similar weight. They're very heavy, really. I suppose if you consider what a normal weight EDC knife should be. But with weight comes robustness, I suppose. I mean, all 3 are very, very, very tough. I've got no problems with hammering on them at all. I've only sharpened one of them. All of them could do with the sharpen really when they come out of the box, but I've only really considered sharpening the middle one, just because that's the one I use most often. So yeah, this is the Ganzo 710. It's a copy of the Benchmade Rift, and it cost me about £8 it works out to, although that's marked up at $18. But there's the Benchmade Rift there. But yeah, very, very similar indeed. Apart from the clip. The clip is different. I actually prefer this one. It's wearing rather nicely. So liners, not milled. So one of the reasons it's so heavy, I suppose. But I don't mind too much. I've certainly given it a good thrashing out in the wilderness a few times. And not really found any problems with it, to be honest. So this other one we've got here, this is an all aluminium one with a Tanto blade. Not bad. I don't really use this very often, to be quite honest, because it's a little bit uncomfortable in the hand due to, I suppose, a combination of its shape and its material. Really, it kind of feels a bit cold when you first pick it up, with it being all aluminium. But it's probably a knife that I would consider ideal for stashing away somewhere in perhaps a kit that I would bury in the ground or something like that. These axis locks aren't too bad, but I am a little bit unimpressed with the amount of travel that the lock itself moves in order to disengage and engage. It's got a really plentiful long slot there, but so I don't understand why the button doesn't move further back. It still works fine, and I've never had one accidentally disengage on me, although to be fair I haven't really given it 100% beating. But I suppose it would be fair to say that because of the aluminium handle, the balance is a little bit strange on this one. This is probably the heaviest of all 3, to be honest. Even though it doesn't have liners, it's all aluminium construction, so price wise it's a little bit cheaper than the others, but to me, because I got the pack of 4, they were all the same price. But, pillar construction, easy to clean, but yeah, just a bit heavy and bulky really. Now this one is probably my favourite, although I've used it the least, and that's probably because it's my favourite, I suppose. I haven't sharpened it yet, and I haven't really given it any major rough use at all. No milled liners, the same as the others. A slightly less, I don't know what I want to say, less bulky feel in the hand. A little bit more ergonomic. Price wise it's similar to the previous one, which is rather surprising actually, because it feels much better quality than the aluminium handled one. Just it has a slightly nicer feel to it really. I've taken these out in the woods and given them a good testing, so I haven't thrashed on them, but I've given them a testing, so I'm perfectly happy with the performance on them. This particular one I took out with me on, I think it was the High Stakes Adventure, so you can check back in my adventures if you want to see what went on in that adventure. That was last spring, I think that was. But no, it performed reasonably well. I had absolutely no problems with it. It was a backup really, but so I didn't have it as my primary knife. The jimping on these, if anyone likes jimping, I'm not particularly bothered about it because I go for the monkey grip. I think it's the strongest way to hold a knife, just by simply grabbing it as hard as you can. But the G10 skills on these are much more comfortable than the aluminium one, that's for sure. But I mean, I'm perfectly happy with. Oh, I'm starting to waffle now.